The bottom line is that Aquarius need therapy. It is what it is. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you why right in this video. But first, I'm going to do our introduction, and then I'm going to tell you all about my theory about Aquarius needing therapy. I am Queen Osset Haru, and thank you for joining me for another wonderful edition of Ask an Aquarius. If you haven't already, please hit the red subscribe button and smack the bell. Also, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and pass it on to somebody else who might like it too. Please drop us a positive comment in the comment section. And let's see. If you would like to get some Ask an Aquarius merchandise, or if you would like to become a patron on Patreon, or if you would like to get a reading done, any of the above, check out underneath this video, because all my social media, my email, everything is underneath this video. Okay? So why did I say that? Well, first of all, let me give you this disclaimer. I believe that everybody should go to therapy. And I know you might be thinking, well, why? Everybody doesn't need to. I think they should. I think that as early as kindergarten, we should have a therapy class once a week. And this should be a class where you go to the school counselor, the school therapist, whatever, and you know, as a child, it would be different. I guess you'd be like coloring pictures or, you know, things like that. Just doing like kind of like art therapy or whatever the case is. I think we should do that once a week at least with every child. And if they have some problems, maybe a little bit more frequently. And the reason why I think this is because most of the problems that adults talk to me about now in their cards or with their therapists or whatever the case is, most of the problems, and I know this myself from being an adult, start in childhood. Almost all of them start when you're a kid. They either start with your parents or your caregivers or your neighborhood or, you know, bullies on the playground. A big one is bullies. How many people do you know? Tell me in the comment section. How many people do you know are still screwed up or dealing? I'm not even going to say screwed up because that's not a polite term. How many people are still dealing with issues because of bullies on the playground? People tell me all the time that, you know, they have PTSD because of bullies, or they'll tell me that they never got over it, you know, or they're still in therapy because of, you know, something a bully did to them more than once in their lifetime. So I think that everybody could benefit from this. I think we would catch more child abuse this way, because usually with little kids, they're going to be doing things that are not very vocal. So you'll be able to see in what they draw, what they color. You might see some clues in these kinds of things. So the bottom line is that I think that as a society, that should be something we put into the curriculum. And why do I say that? Because like I said about the whole childhood thing, but also remember, my training is in education. I was a teacher for the majority of my career. I taught my first class at 20 something years old. And even before that, I was training to teach classes and do workshops at like 19 years old. This has always been my thing. So I've seen a lot of students, and I've seen them fail and I've seen them succeed. And one thing I've noticed is in both cases, there was a lot of need for therapy. And some of them got it and some of them didn't. But the case is that many of them needed it. So from teaching students all those years, I think that would be very beneficial. And the students that had severe problems, they did get counseling. And many of them did respond to it. But I think all students need it. And I think it should be something that's done between kindergarten and 12th grade. After that, if you need more, then of course, you know, you can continue services. But I think if we did that, we would have more healthy, well-adjusted people in our society. So that's just my personal opinion. That's my soapbox. That's the hill I will die on, you know. I will lobby for that, you know. But this is about Aquarius. So what's the specific aspect for Aquarius? I think Aquarius specifically need therapy. And I think that for two reasons. The first reason I think that is because Aquarius often have a problem expressing and accepting our own emotions. And this is true for a lot of us. Some of us have a hard time controlling our emotions, especially when we're young. When I was young, my temper was awful. And a lot of that had to do with me not properly knowing how to express that emotion and deal with the emotions of anger, frustration, sadness. If somebody had taught me in kindergarten how to do that in a structured environment, I might have not been so angry. I was angry for a large portion of my life. So I think that would have been extremely helpful. So I think that that's the first thing. I think a lot of Aquarius have a hard time with emotions, dealing with it, talking about it. I remember I was talking to an Aquarius the other day, and I've heard a lot of Aquarius say this. And the Aquarius said to me, well, I was talking to her and she just started crying, Queen. I didn't even know what to do. And I was like, did you comfort her? Did you hold her hand? Did you pat her on the back? Did you say anything? And the Aquarius was like, no, I just froze. I have heard this same story from countless Aquarius. And it's because many of us never learned how to deal with emotion. So I feel like Aquarius really need therapy because that's where you learn to deal with emotion. Unless your parents teach you, if your parents are emotionally intelligent, they can teach you. But I only had one parent. My father was Aquarius and he was Rolling Stone. He was doing him. You know, he came and went. You know, my mother and him always fighting. My mother was a Capricorn and she was the only parent I really could depend on. But she's not good with emotion. She's good with a lot of other things. But that emotional aspect, which I desperately needed, she wasn't really good at and wasn't really comfortable with. So I never really got that until I grew up and went to therapy. So I feel like many Aquarius, that's the problem. I know some real mean Aquarius. They mean as rattlesnakes, man. I know some Aquarius who are so closed off. I know some Aquarius that are perfectly fine. So, of course, all of us, you know, probably wouldn't need this, but a great deal of us, I would say, would really benefit from some type of therapy. I was talking to this one Aquarius guy. He was clearly lonely. And not because nobody wanted to be around him. He had friends calling him. He had women trying to holler at him, you know. But he just was like so shut off. He was so afraid of getting hurt because he had been hurt. And he was so afraid of getting hurt again that he basically had withdrawn into himself and was miserable, was lonely, but was unwilling to do anything about it. Somebody like him would be a perfect candidate for some type of therapy because it would definitely help him get over whatever pain and unforgiveness he's holding on to. That's why I always tell people to let go of unforgiveness because it does not help you. It doesn't do shit for you. It just keeps your heart chakra all tightened up. And eventually, if you get hurt bad enough or if you shut off long enough, you know, you don't even want to connect with people anymore. So I feel like these types of Aquarius that have this issue are the ones who, like I said, they can learn it from, you can learn it from your parents. And if they don't have the skills, you can learn it from therapy. So if you're sitting there thinking to yourself, yeah, I'm an Aquarius, I don't do well with emotion, but I don't really know what to do, that's the answer. Go to therapy. Because if you find a good therapist, now mind you, I'm not saying this is the easy part. I'm going to tell you about this part. But if you find a good therapist, they can help you with that. That's their job. So they can help you learn how to do that. They can help you. They're supposed to give you coping mechanisms and strategies and all kind of stuff. So if you find a really good therapist that you click with, that's what they're going to do. So what's the hard part about therapy? The hardest part is going to therapy, just getting your butt in there. And the second hardest part is finding a good therapist. Now, this part is a little bit tricky because you can probably go online and look at reviews. You can ask people that you know, do they know a good therapist? You can do those kind of things, that's a good thing. But sometimes it just takes to go to, different ones until somebody clicks for you. Okay? Now, the thing that you want to do, regardless of who your therapist is, you want to come to therapy with goals. Because most people that I know who have failed at therapy, they went to therapy waiting for the therapist to fix them. They would walk in and be like, okay, like when you go to the doctor, examine me, fix me, give me some treatment, But therapy doesn't work like that. You need to go to therapy knowing what it is that you want to work on. So when I went to therapy, I'll tell you about when I went. I came in the door like, look, I am depressed. I hate what's going on in my life. I'm I'm in an entanglement with a narcissistic sociopathic cancer that I need to escape, and I don't know how, and I need some help. Okay? I went to her and said that the first day. I think I'm in love with this person, but this person crazy. Please help me. What is wrong with me that I can't escape this person? And my therapist was like, okay. And I told her what I needed. I was like, I need something to read. I need coping mechanisms. I need books. I need theories. I need something. I'm a thinking logical person. So I need things I can look at and use for my thought processes. And my therapist was like, I got you. 18 months later, that cancer was gone. And I was moving on with my life, okay? And I had healed a bunch of stuff that I didn't even expect to touch on because it was the cause of me being in that bad relationship. So you need to go with your, like, what are you here for? Well, I'm here because I'm depressed. I'm here because, I can't get along with my family members. I'm here because I feel imbalanced. Whatever the thing is, this is why I'm here, and these are the things I need. I need some videos. I need, some books. I need some pamphlets. I need something. I need some guidance on how to get myself together. And then you and your therapist should create a plan, and they should be giving you activities and exercises. Every activity my therapist gave me, I did as soon as I got home. She was like, I remember one of them was a self-love exercise. She told me, and I did this for years, she told me every week to mail myself something. I would mail myself a box of chocolates. I would mail myself a present. I would mail myself cards. And every time I mailed myself something, I always made sure it had a card with it that said, to me, from me, love always. Or I would put a little poem to myself in it, like something that I saw somewhere, a quote or a poem or something like that. And I did that for years. It was a self-love exercise. And it just helped you see you can give love to yourself and you don't need to beg for it from some yahoo that doesn't really give a shit about you. Love my therapist. When she discharged me 18 months later, I was like, maybe I should go back. But she was very, very extremely helpful. The last reason why I said Aquarius would do very well in therapy is because we often have problems with communication. It's often very difficult for us to just straight up communicate with people. We have this tendency, like I know for me, sometimes I'm like, you know what? It's not your concern. Why do I need to tell you anything? Whatever I said, that's all you're getting, And you can't do that in partnerships. I know Aquarius who will tell me, well, I'm doing it anyway. My husband don't like it, but I'm doing it anyway. And I'm like, Aquarius, don't you think maybe you could compromise? Can't y'all talk it out, So I feel like because we're not the best communicators all the time, some of us are, but it's a skill you can learn. So for an Aquarius who has problems with emotion or problems with communication, or the third one I would say is problems with other people, because some Aquarius have a hard time getting along with other people. And sometimes it's your fault and sometimes it's not. So that's another thing you can explore in therapy is, why do I have so many problems with other people? You know, what am I attracting? If I'm attracting fucked up people, why is that? What's going on inside of me? Therapy helps you look at yourself. And this is one of the reasons why I understand Aquarius so well, is because I spent so much time analyzing myself. And as you're going to see later, I have a lot of placements in Aquarius. My sun sign, rising sign, and about 4 or 5 other ones are in Aquarius. So as I was analyzing myself and picking myself apart, I learned some things that were nature, some things that were nurture, some things went along with my sign. You know, different things had different origins. But I was able to understand, like, okay, that's why that is. So going to therapy lets you deep dive into yourself. It helps you to understand yourself. You do things for motivations and reasons you probably don't even remember. Something could have happened to you at 11 months old that you don't even consciously remember, and you can still be acting from that place. And you might go to therapy and remember that shit. You know, or it might be hazy, it might be vague. A lot of people tell me they have repressed memories that they remembered in therapy. I was talking to a Sag, and she told me that she purposely repressed certain memories, and she remembers when she did it. So my point of the matter is that because of these reasons, Aquarius can do very well in therapy. But a lot of Aquarius that I talk to about therapy, especially, like, there's this one Aquarius man that I know, and I like him. I like him a lot, but he need therapy. He need therapy bad. And a lot of times, the ones that need it are the ones that fight me on it the most. Either they don't want to go, or they don't think they need it. They don't, and it's like, well, ain't nothing wrong with me. Nobody said anything was wrong with you, but we can all stand improvement. There's no person that's perfect who can't stand improvement. And in his particular case, he a little bit off, and I be looking at him sometimes like, you need to talk to a professional. And then I know another Aquarius. This is so funny. I was talking to her husband, and her husband told me that when they went to therapy, she spent the whole time arguing with the therapist about his feelings or interpretations or whatever he was saying to her. She spent the whole time arguing with the therapist and trying to prove the therapist wrong. Bitch, you not here to play tit for tat with the fucking therapist. You're here to get some help. So he told me it just fell apart. They never even went to a different one. Because I tell people, if their first therapist, if it's not a good fit, so what? Find another one. Within 3 weeks, you should be testing out a new person. That one don't work, find another one. It took me two therapists before the third one was able to really be beneficial and helpful to me. So Aquarius, I really feel like in some cases fight against therapy when a lot of us really could benefit from it. So if you're sitting there in the audience thinking to yourself, I got those issues, you can work on them. You can. The things that I have, the characteristics and qualities that I have now, such as being able to communicate, being okay with rejection, being okay with my feelings, not being so hot-headed and so, temper so hot. All of those things I got from going to therapy. I wouldn't be sitting here saying any of these things to you if I hadn't went to therapy. It was my own therapy that really got me to see things from a different perspective. I was an asshole sometimes, straight up. I really was. I look back at myself and I was like, you wasn't always the kindest, dog. And I feel like therapy is one of the biggest things that helped me be the person I want to be. So I think that anybody can benefit from it, but Aquarius, I think, really should go. I think this should be mandatory. Like, if you're born Aquarius, you got to go to therapy immediately, because those two things can help you. If I had learned how to deal with my emotions as a child, I probably would not have had all those problems as a teenager, So I think it could be really helpful for a lot of us. Now let's look at some positive comments. Eddie Fitlife. Hey, Eddie. Eddie said, freedom is the ultimate value of the human soul and shouldn't come from a place of desperation. Never. No. Freedom is extremely important, and anything that you do from a place of desperation is probably going to fail. You know, I mean, I can see if you're, desperately, crawling through the desert trying to live. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I see that. But I mean, like, if you trying to get with somebody out of desperation, or trying to get somebody to stay with you out of desperation, or marry you out of desperation, none of that shit ever works well. It's best to just keep it pushing. Now, this one is from Felice. Felice, hi. Felice said, so true. Playing with Aquarius is not a smart idea. As an Aquarius, I know how to read other people. So many Scorpions tried to play with me. Yeah, a lot of people try to play with Aquarius, and then Aquarius is sneaky. So when people lie to me or people try to play me, I don't let on that I've peeped what they're doing. Okay? And a lot of Aquarius are like this. We will not let on. We'll see that shit from back deep though and be like, I see your sneaky ass, okay? A lot of us will see it but not say anything. We'll just hold back, you know? I know for me, I probably file it in my filing cabinet. And then when the time is right, I'm like, and that's when I address it. So playing with an Aquarius, especially a calculating one of the nice fluffy bunny Aquariuses, because it is some of those. They're very woo-woo, artsy kind of types, hippie types. I love them. But they're not always as quick in that particular way. But those of us who are like that, but also calculating, a lot of times we'll know that you're lying. We'll know that you're trying to play us. We will set you up and let you get caught. And you won't even know we was the one that set it up. And then we'll sit back and watch it and be like, oh, damn, you got caught, huh? And never let on that it was us that did it. I have set up so many people to get caught, and they never knew it was me. They can't know it's you. That messes up your ability to surprise, okay? So that has happened a lot. So you guys, it's time for us to get going. So come back soon because I have a lot more to say. See you later.